Hello, and welcome to Let's Drone Out. Tonight we are joined by Frank.
You can't hear us.
Frankle.
Hello.
Yay! And he will be playing back a video from
Mel from June Crusaders.
Because...
What? Oh, because, yeah, they couldn't come on this evening, unfortunately, because they had work that they had to do this evening, which that came up at the last minute. So they were hoping to come on and talk about it themselves and be part of the chat, but unfortunately, no could do at the last minute. So I had to record a phone conversation and edit that out over the past hour to get it ready so I could play it.
It's all gone crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I'd just like to point out that someone did something midweek for the show. Like, I just extracurricular activities. So, Andrew, you get a gold star.
Hooray.
Gold star. We're joined by AndyRC, our J replacement. There later on will be a straw poll to see whether you prefer him or we can get Jay back. We're also joined by Daniel, but you'll never see him because he's running Let's Drone Out. That's why there's two Let's Drone Outs. NJ.
Hello.
He was recently this week reviewing the TBS Crossfire, so we can't wait to hear all about that. And his lovely transmitter.
Indeedy.
The horse-like person who's chewing like a horse, and you know, we were desperate for guests, and someone like left the gate open, and he wandered in. Just as he eats more, so he can't actually say hello. Carlito.
I'm fine, thanks. How are you? I understand every word of that.
Who let him on? And good news and bad news. Tony's here.
What's up?
Tony.
Is that the good news or the bad news?
The good news was Tony was in hospital. Bad news, not for him. It was his dad.
Yep. Hopefully he's going to make a full recovery. A broken femur, not really good. Waiting for an ambulance for 2 hours. In severe pain. Yeah, not good.
I'm going to start calling him Bone Crusher from now on. You know, like the guy from Bottom. Because you've broke both your dog's legs and your old man. Like, so, I don't know what's with you, mate, but you are...
I did it, did I?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm scared to be around you. This is why I don't hang out with you anymore.
I drove from Crawley to Edenbridge in under 15 minutes.
Don't say that. It's recorded. You're accountable. Tony, I'm going to have to sit you down. Stop giving medical and private details and not incriminating evidence. Oh, my God. Oh, no, you didn't. You may have. You dreamt that. Isn't that right, Tony? You
I may have dreamt it. Or
yeah,
I was
you may have. Yeah, totally.
You're drinking while you're driving.
No one could possibly drive to Edenbridge in 15 minutes in a safe and careful manner.
What if they've got a really fast car, though?
Tony doesn't. Tony only owns a van.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't like Hondas or unicorns.
But probably the drinking help.
He can't. This is why I didn't want Carlito on. It just gets worse.
What?
Like,
anyway, I want to say I love you, Dad. To see you soon. Get well soon.
Yeah, and I still hate you for making Tony. I was hoping wine would come out of his nose, but it didn't.
Not quite. And we've got to say thank you to AndyRC who promoted our channel as well. You know.
Yeah, I know. I was reading all the lovely comments.
Great, yeah. Wow.
And I promoted your channel too, you bastards.
So there's a fight in the chat.
I don't
count, right? I don't
have you come from the AndyRC channel or have you come from the Carlito Show?
Well, at least 2 views.
Post in the chat, you know.
Well, thank you both. I didn't realise, Carlito, that you promoted us too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like, are you finished being Casey Neistat with your camera and your board?
I just like shared the post. I don't know if that's promoting, but yeah, no, Casey Neistat. No, I still have my board. Actually, it's charging right now because I use it to.
You can share a post, Carlitos. You can share a community post.
Yeah. I shared a post. I don't know if that's promoting or whatever.
Yeah, it is promoting. I can't do that. I was trying to figure out how to do that, but I think you have to have a certain account to do it.
No, there's a little button that says share.
Oh, I see.
Let's give a shout out to our listeners, shall we, quickly? There's Zero, as ever, Adam, Mr. Frost, Mikey, Homegrown Drone, Davey Boy. Who else we got in the chat? John Hollers. I'm just flicking fast through these. Rob's Latino. Thanks for joining us. I like giving a shout out to our regulars, Davey Boy and the guys. Zero FPV.
I've got a hammer in case Tony comes at me at all times. I like my legs.
I can't imagine that anyone, if they've been on the UK FPV scene, which, assuming that they're watching this, they probably are, that they don't know Carlos, just because I can't think of an event where you haven't been there.
Yeah, especially with this Pervert army wagon for looking up girls' skirts.
Oh yeah,
in 3D.
Do we need a bit of context there? Because
yeah, I think you might need some context on that.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know what more you can do. It's exactly as it's written on there.
Moving on then.
I dare you to put the number plate as Pervert wagon. I dare you, because that was. It's amazing.
Basically, Andy, it's like a little 1x10 little truck that I have, like a crawler, and I set like not a gimbal, like a 3D type of gimbal on top that I can basically move all the way around. So I'm driving, and on top, mounted on the there's a little soldier guy on the driver's seat, and his head is basically like a 3D gimbal in 3D. So the actual FPV camera is in 3D, so you get to go around and explore stuff in 3D.
Like
it's super amazing.
Like a stalky Google Street View, but live.
yeah. But live. Yeah.
The people's faces aren't blurred out. You can see them.
Yes, yeah. But it's amazing. Like, I used it on was the Sumner Spawn, where Jack tormented me half the time. But
always, and I got you what do you call it as well? Where did we go, AndyRC?
Western Park.
Yeah, that place.
Oh, yeah, Western Park. Yeah.
Don't get out.
Yeah, it's super nice though. Like you can see everything in 3D. So when you have like a little dog coming at you, you can see the definition of the dog.
This is while you're driving, you can see it.
Yeah, while you're driving. So it's FPV.
Have you got the Pervert wagon? Can you just go and grab it?
Wait.
No, it's upstairs.
Oh right, okay. So I was sat here thinking this is a real wagon.
No, this is like a 1x10.
I'm thinking this guy's driving his car with FPV goggles on.
No, you saw how well that went for
the bike though.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was must have been quite hard to do that. I've done it once. Not like that, but I was going down Hidden Valley Path, and I was in the seat with Bradders, and someone was driving a van, and we were flying while he was driving, and it was, oh my god, when I got out, I just wanted to chuck up.
Motion sickness.
Oh.
Have you ever seen, Tony, you won't appreciate this, but like back in the 60s, they did experiments with cats on LSD, and I can only describe as you coming out of that van, you look like that.
It was horrible. It was.
Hang on, I might load that video up. Hang on. I know. I don't agree with it. It's animal cruelty, but
I'd rather you load the video of me nearly throwing up out the van.
No.
I thought that's what Yeah, that'd have been better.
I didn't think of getting the camera out, like, really.
Was it cats? I thought it was. I thought it was spiders. Wasn't there a spider test as well? The spiders all did really interesting, like the one.
Yeah.
On LSD did a really crazy web shape, and the one on Cannabis just got sat there and did nothing. Of course.
Nut paste. There you go.
Oh, but that's like that's a spoof, like spiders on alcohol and cocaine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Tony, I think you should lecture everyone now because of all this animal cruelty that's going on.
There.
In FPV.
It's that.
Oh my God!
Look, this is Tony, right? He doesn't know where the floor begins or ends, or
it's just a wind tunnel. That's a cat in a wind tunnel, man.
That's cool, man. So
That's just horrible.
Just with more vomit.
Take
Look,
that off.
I didn't do it.
Take it off.
I
demand you to take it off immediately.
It's off. It's off. It is horrible.
Let me
try with my.
Are like horrible people.
So to all our new listeners that AndyRC and Carlos have brought on here,
I'm really glad I promoted this one in particular.
Yeah,
definitely.
We do talk about drones at some point, don't we? Rather than cats.
NJ, ask NJ. He's really good at that.
Yeah. Well, when you're ready, we can talk a little bit about Crossfire stuff. Definitely.
No, go for it now.
You want to do that now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, what I didn't.
Especially after that.
I'm in the process of doing a review on the Crossfire because it's an interesting one. I've had to pull information from several sources to get a kind of one place where all the information is good and correct, because there's some great information out there and there's some very misleading information out there. And I actually had a bit of a chat today with Trappy, which was great to actually get a little bit of a conversation going about dipole antennas, which sounds super boring, but stick with me, it is quite interesting. More importantly, about this guy. So if you can see here, this is the Immortal antenna. You see that mounted there? Yep. So this is a dipole antenna in a standard dipole configuration. Now, when this is in polarization with your transmitter, so if your transmitter is flat across and you fly your drone out and this is also in the same polarization, so flat across, the two of them both parallel to each other, you get absolutely incredible range. I mean, with this system, with the TBS system anyway, this Crossfire, the range is just phenomenal anyway. So don't think of it in terms of even comparable to FrSky range on standard 2.4. It's not. We're down at, 868 hertz here, I think. So we're much lower range, lower wave length. And if those are in polarization, the range is colossal. The problem comes, and this is kind of a well-known thing anyway, is when you go sideways like this and the antenna's pointing straight at the transmission source. And at that point, when it's pointing, you've got that real kind of drop in gain. Now, what's interesting is, the bit that I found interesting anyway, is that with a dipole antenna, we're not talking about two monopoles in diversity, we're talking about a single dipole. You can actually put this at 90 degrees. You can put one of the nodes at 90 degrees to the other. Now, what that will do will actually reduce the range compared to being in polarization, so flat this way and transmitter flat that way. What that will actually do is reduce the range from there, but it won't be as bad as the range with this pointing straight at it. So despite everyone thinking these are fantastic, which they are if they're in polarization, on a quadcopter, it's actually better to get a standard dipole antenna and bend it into a V shape, and then maybe have one going up out the back and then one coming straight out the back flat. So that was an interesting conversation, because that changed my opinion, or certainly my understanding of how a dipole can work. I didn't realize a dipole could actually work in V configuration. So that was interesting. But yeah, if you're on a quadcopter with Crossfire, I would not necessarily recommend using the Immortal antenna. And we actually had a bit of a joke about, I said, well, can you release an Immortal L antenna like this? To which he replied, do you mean an Immort L? So I think there's every chance that he might release a new antenna more focused on quadcopters. But yeah, there's my TBS story. So so far the range has been incredible. Really, really good system. And even with it set up like that on the Immortal antenna, long way out, reception was just phenomenal. Up in the 90s, even when I was, 2 kilometers plus out. So it's a very good system.
I think, Carlos, you've been flying Crossfire for quite a while, haven't you?
Yep.
It embraces and everything as well.
Yeah, so I changed to Crossfire specifically for racing. I noticed that with my FrSky when I was racing, I don't know. So if I would race in regular conditions just for training with my mates out in our racing field, everything will be fine. As soon as I would get to a race, I would notice that the quad was like shimming sometimes, as it felt like the signal was going out. And I think this might be because, number one, I use, let me actually get a quad and I'll show you. My antennas in all my quads, so I don't smash them, are all in the arms. Yeah?
Yep.
But that obviously causes the signal propagation to be less because it's like tied to the carbon frame. It's separated. Obviously, it's not touching the carbon fiber, but it's separated. But it's too close for the signal propagation to be. And I think that plus the saturation of FrSky on races causes some glitches on the races. I don't know if I was the only one noticing this, but as soon as I transited to Crossfire, gone. Smooth sailing.
I was actually chatting to Paul Bitmatta about this. Sometimes he's on here. I don't know if he might make an appearance at some point tonight. But he was saying that because obviously Thomas was out, has been doing all these races out in Australia and just obviously doing phenomenally well. But they've just switched to Crossfire because they were having problems. And not only has he reported that immediately all the problems were gone and they've had a bulletproof signal, but also that he's really noticed the latency improvement, which I've got to say I have as well. That it does feel that little bit sharper, a little bit more responsive. So it's all positives. I just wish the receivers were a little cheaper, but I hear they're coming down.
There's one negative though. I don't know if you noticed, if you've been with it long enough, but the Crossfire, depending on how many milliwatts,
Yes.
How many milliwatts it's outputting will severely drain your transmitter.
What, the battery, you mean?
Yeah.
I'd honestly suggest people run at 25 milliwatts because, I mean, even at 25 milliwatts in clean line of sight, you're still talking like 15 kilometers of range. So I don't think, even with obstacles, 25's plenty. For that reason, that's a great reason to stay on the lower.
But again, it depends on how you mount your antenna and how you and where you fly. Because I had it at 25 milliwatts, and I noticed like in my flying field, there's a lot of grounds that I can use for training. So I sit in front of a forest, basically, that has like a huge path, like 50 meters behind trees. So I try to use the Crossfire with the antennas in the arms, as I use with all my quads. And with 25 milliwatts, like if I was going behind the all of those trees, the signal would cut out.
Interesting. Well, I mean, personally, I think some of that is definitely going to be down to the reflection from the carbon.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely try and get the antennas out in clean air.
Yeah, but I just up the milliwatts like to 100
and muscle through the situation.
Yeah.
That's Jeremy Clarkson, isn't it? Power.
So, do you have to set the RSSI via the Lua script?
What you do if you want RSSI in the OSD is you set channel 12 to LQ, which is link quality, not actually to RSSI, and then that will give you an input back on channel 12, which you can configure in base flight and say it's coming down channel 12, and then you'll get that in your
So can you do that with if you haven't got a flight controller? Because I've got Crossfire on my wing, and I want it to shout out through my Tyrannus every 30 seconds the RSSI or the link quality?
I don't see why not. What I would do is set it to, you know, the momentary switch on the Tranus in the top right-hand corner.
So
I think that's what Steel does, actually. Yeah, just
so if I just flick it, it will tell me.
Yeah, you flick it, it'll give you a readout. Yeah, yeah, I can work out how to do that for you, Tony, and I'll give you the logical switch inputs for that.
Isn't it just play value?
Because I've got
my
working play value RSSI, but I think it's wrong. I think I need to.
I think that the problem is now is because of this micro bundle with the module being kind of in this territory where it's now quite affordable and such a great system, and this is now going to, I think this is starting to boom and more people are going to switch over to it. I think you're going to have this problem where people are just they're now suddenly demanding from all the flight control software developers features they're all kind of racing to get these features sorted out. I mean, Betaflight's right on top of it. That accepts the Crossfire protocol, no problem at all. Raceflight are a little behind. I've not put it on a Raceflight build yet because in the latest beta you can not the one on the page, but there's actually a beta group called Quopa. It will now understand Crossfire protocol, but what it won't do is work with the telemetry for Crossfire. And at the minute, the problem I see on Betaflight actually is that if you've got the telemetry working, that when you have LQ, so for the RSSI to the OSD, one of the issues that you have is that it's not, for me, it's not scaling correctly. So it's scaling between, like if you turn the transmitter off, line quality goes down to 30%. And then I thought, well, that can't be the noise floor. It's got to be lower than that. And then I've been told since, apparently, if you don't have telemetry running, that will then scale properly across the whole 100%. So I think there's some bugs and bits to work out, but I think developers are getting more active in sorting this stuff out because people are moving over to...
Oh, we've got David in the chat. I just noticed.
Rocket Man!
Ah, Rocket Man.
Sorry to interrupt. I just...
No, that's a news flash.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Rocket Man is actually John King or whatever his bloody name from North Korea. It's Rocket.
Yes.
Sorry, Rocket Man. Not Rocket Man. I don't start calling David Rocket Man.
Carlito, can I ask this? The TBS Crossfire, has everyone pretty much, because you go to the races quite a lot, has everyone moved over to it?
No.
So
everyone's running, FrSky and and sorry, what's the regular radio? Tyrannus.
Right. So they have a lot of problems with dropouts and stuff. Then I guess I
haven't seen people with dropouts, but I don't know. They maybe just carry through, or maybe they put the. I guess that I was having the dropouts just because how I put my antennas, because I don't want. First, I just take all my quads, shove it in the backpack, so I don't like things sticking out. All my antennas are like strategically positioned, so I can smash it into the ground or just shove it into the backpack, and nothing's gonna happen. And people most of the time have stuff like this, like the antenna on top. So that's not gonna fit. In a bag. Did you go to the castle event at the weekend? Yeah. I told you about it.
Yeah, you said
not on here. Keep talking.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that bit. I didn't.
You could tell us about it, Carlos, because we're live now, and when we were chatting before, it wasn't live.
Yeah. I can tell you about it.
Tell us. Go.
Jack doesn't want to. Jack wants.
No, I want you to tell. I was pretending like I've never heard.
Oh, the castle. What is that? Oh my God.
Yes,
I've never heard of it. Please tell me more.
What is a castle?
Yeah.
The castle was built by people back in the day, and then they used it to store stuff. I don't really know.
And
anyways,
they have crenellations.
They have the what now?
Crenellations, is that right?
Yeah.
Crenellations.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know. Probably they store those in. Probably they store those in the back. They didn't really, cover that in the briefing. But anyways, the castle event, as you so mildly put it, it's actually called the Crusader something. Crusaders event?
Drone Crusaders, I believe. I wasn't there.
That's the one.
Andy wasn't there, and he knows what
I
he was.
seem to know more about it. I've seen a lot. I've
Tell
seen.
us about it, Andy, please.
Well,
I
from what
just show
I
up
saw,
half the time. I don't know what's going on.
Right,
You know.
burn everything. That's it. I've had enough.
Right. So the event, it was really well done. We had an absolute. We were very, very lucky because the weather was absolutely perfect-ish most of the times. When I say perfect, I mean there was sun during one day, and then the other day it didn't rain
But that
that
is
much.
perfect.
Like it rained for 15 minutes or something. No, considering you're in Wales, I think
Yeah.
that qualifies as perfect weather.
It does.
That,
Did you
we
enjoy
didn't
any
get,
sheep?
no, sadly, the sheep were all taken by the locals.
Oh, it's a shame. You missed out there.
I thought it was in Liverpool, not Wales.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
There's loads of castles.
No, it was
Easy.
it was like a stone's throw away from Snowdon.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looked great from the
so-
videos. I saw a video of was it you with a wing diving it? That looked pretty impressive.
That's not a wing, actually. It's a mini Talon,
Ah, right.
and that was the maiden of the mini Talon. Yeah, I mean, race-wise, so they set a couple of gates in the in windows and the the balustrades of the castle, and you had to fly through those gates. Yeah, you had to fly through those gates and avoid smashing into the concrete, which proved hard for some people. So a couple of people broke their quads to bits. And there were even some parts of the course that if your drone would fall into a hole, you wouldn't get it back. But luckily, no one lost their.
I thought Richard Wheeland and a couple of other guys got stuck a bit and they had to call someone out.
Yeah. So we were lucky because we just like smashed into. I think a couple of windows. There was a closed-off area, but it was easy-ish to get the drone out. But yeah, it was amazing. It was everyone did great. A lot of people didn't turn up, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was
but
quite annoying.
I guess because of the weather,
Mm.
and it's also like 4.5 hours away from London.
Yeah, it was far.
Didn't help.
Were there any big name people there, like racers that we might know of and stuff?
Yeah, Carlito was there. No. You heard about? No, actually, no. It was a shame. I have to admit, I was kind of like goating myself into, oh, this is gonna be easy. I'm gonna take the win, and then I effed up and didn't go through the semifinals.
Oh.
It was gutted. There was two guys that were very, very fast. Well, a couple of guys, like 4-ish guys that were quite fast, and I was in between those 4. And the fastest guy, which was a guy that came from Germany for the event.
Wow.
I don't know if he came on purpose or it was just on the immediate area, and he managed to make it to the event. But him and myself, we smashed our quads into the castle on the semi-finals, which was
Not good.
gutted.
Yeah,
The castle one.
unlucky.
Was there
That's
a
the one.
prize for winning or anything, or is it just like a friendly sort of to test?
No. There was a couple of prizes, like a little trophy in the shape of a castle.
Oh, cool.
For the first, the second, and the third. Oh, and more. I forgot a couple of things as well. Like during the race, during some segments of the race, they actually put remote-controlled detonating smoke bombs. So
Wow.
as you were racing, all of a sudden, like blue smoke bombs would burst out. And then on the finals, what they did is that on the final gate, I think it was the final gate, they put a couple of like sprinklers, fire sprinklers. So
Just to
as you were
take you
completing
out.
a lap, it was like. Psh.
Wow.
No, it was cool. It didn't really matter. The sun was the thing that was taking out most pilots, because at some point during the course, the sun was low on top of the trees,
Yeah.
and you were going through a segment of the course, and you literally couldn't see, and you had to go through a tiny little window about the size of my screen, and you literally couldn't see where you were going. So it was like a
shut your eyes time.
Yeah.
I think I saw a video of a quad with a smoke thing on it. I think that was on Instagram.
I have tons of video to release. I just don't have time to edit. But we did
for anyone who's a bit confused. Yes, Carlos is in a shirt because usually it's like in a flight suit or LED.
I took my cape as well.
Yeah,
I took my Crusader cape to the event because obviously I wanted to, match the occasion.
Make an impression. Yeah.
Will you
if you're
wear
gonna take a Crusader cape,
straight jacket
the best
at the Nationals because it's October?
The straight jacket.
Yeah, like crazy jumpsuit. Nationals, October, Halloween. Scary.
I'll think about it.
I think it'll be cool.
Are you going to the British Championships? Because I think you're an invite, aren't you?
Me? To the where? Bristol.
You to the British Championships.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yes, I'm like on borderline 60 or something. But I was a bit upset with this results because there are people that may not race as fast as me, but they're more consistent in the values that they have during the races, and they get bumped off. I just did one race, and I ended up in 12th place on the qualifiers, and I get to race at the British Nationals, and these people don't. I don't know how kind of algorithms they use to qualify people, but
it's a bit of a funny one. Before we get too far off of the Drone Crusaders event, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to play, because we were hoping to have someone from the Drone Crusaders on and talk all about it. They couldn't make it, so we've got pre-recorded little bit, and I'll try and get that playing in just a second.
My name is Mel Pengelly. I'm the owner of Drone Crusaders, and the weekend just passed. We launched Drone Crusaders at Greenwich Castle in North Wales, which was an amazing success. On my team, I've got Thomas Perrin of 1080 Aerial. I've got John Hall, currently at DSK. And then we've got Simon Parker, currently a corporal in the Army, who's coming out to head our public safety and experience. And then we've got Tommy Donnelly from RSSI, who's our technical director. And without those guys constantly testing and getting together over the last 9 weeks, the event wouldn't have been the success that it was. We had a massive turnout by the public. And one thing that was picked up very quickly was we weren't sort of catering for them. So what we've done, and literally today, I have purchased a 20 meter by 16 meter marquee. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having screens on the inside and the outside of the marquee. We're back at Greenwich on April the 14th and 15th, 2018. We have got a few surprises for the course. It's going to be a little bit different. Drop us a message. It's first come, first serve, guys. So yeah, next year, initially, we'll start off with 6 castles being within the Drone Crusaders League. We're now looking at a castle around the Cardiff area without giving too much away. We're looking at Newcastle, one in the Midlands, and one in Sussex. At every venue we go to, we are going to be launching a Drone Crusaders Club, which ties in Velocidrone. So we're going to be teaching people how to fly. So it's not just for people who can already race. There'll be pilots teaching. There'll be pilots teaching beginners how to build drones, up into people up and coming like our sponsored pilot, Kelsey FPV, where, hopefully then we can see them on the circuit in the future. Through wherever a Drone Crusaders group pops up, 10% of our profits will always go to the venues. With regards to restoration, we've actually got some sponsors in Italy who are looking at launching Drone Crusaders over there. And literally this evening had a phone call from the US with a bunch of guys over there looking to take Drone Crusaders into the US. The information is on the website at www.dronecrusaders.co.uk. Well, you guys must join us in April. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Cool.
That was one of the things I forgot to say. It was amazing. I think more people turned up for this event from the public than any of the races that I've seen throughout the year. Yeah, it was crazy because people went there like I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking like old people with little walking sticks and stuff, and they were sitting around in a courtyard where they could see a small fraction of the course, and they were loving it. So whenever I had the chance to go out, I would just take my goggles and like show the people, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're looking through the goggles! Oh, this is amazing! It's like flying." So people really enjoyed it.
That's good. That's really good. It's good to hear.
And
some positive.
And another thing, yeah, I have to refer this. I was really surprised. So as Mel mentioned, there was a 14-year-old girl called Kelsey.
Yeah.
Racing, and I mean, from the videos that I did a segment on women and FPV.
Hot Topic.
Not too long ago. Yeah, exactly. Hot Topic. I'm not doing.
Isn't that a clothing store in America?
It's where I shop.
Yeah,
mostly.
Oh, no,
there we go.
don't you have like you know, like a manager that does that or something?
No.
Puts makeup, bit of eyeliner. Where's your glasses?
Oh, I broke them. I need to order some.
Oh, right. Sorry. Hang on. Let's go. Ignore me for the next 20 minutes. I'm going to start a GoFundMe. GoFundMe. Muse needs the new glasses.
Anyways,
I should point out just quickly that because obviously when people watch this video back, they won't pick up what's been going on in the chat. But David Windestal has expressed his excitement over the start of Rocket Punch, and he's open to the chat what people would like, what suggestions people have for what to punch.
David, can I do the Rocket Punch bit, please?
I think you just did.
Take that.
give a timestamp.
Coconut. Timestamp is, I don't know, what is the timestamp? Where can I do it? See, I can't see any time.
I want to know a little more information about the fist. Where is he going to acquire a fist, and how big is the fist going to be? These are all important questions for Rocket Punch.
David, get a microphone.
Yeah.
It's difficult to get the center of gravity right on the fist.
Oh, we'll have him on next week if you want.
Let's have David on next week to talk about Rocket Punch.
So is the rocket knife thing over?
David to fist. I never thought I'd write.
When did you ever think you were going to write that down?
I never. That's the thing with being friends with David. Like, Andrew needs to jump in.
Yeah, well,
I know
I
Andrew's talk enough.
I kind of made the fist, so
yeah,
it's slightly bigger than actual size. It's about 15% bigger than real life, something like that. It's very solid nylon.
We got Ardeen E listening in from Australia.
Australia was that? Oh,
just Austria.
What's the top things that people want? Watermelon. What was the other things?
no idea.
I don't know. Anyway, I've got a topic. Back to the Crossfire. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Tony, I'd just like to point out, Tony is doing something right, because is any of you guys still subscribed to Steel? Because on his latest video, he was like flying around doing a bit of freestyle. And when you come into land, you catch Thing of Swarm reading from his phone about the guidelines for the Crossfire, about using a long range system on a unreliable model doesn't make it more reliable or any less chance of fail safing and stuff. Make sure you add it to a reliable model that has been flown and tested and proved itself. And I just like to say that Tony's doing the right thing with his setting stuff up, or Tony can switch his camera off and ignore me.
Was that a compliment to Tony? I think that's the
Yeah,
first
I think
time.
it might have been.
For the real, he hung up. That was it.
He can't handle it. He's fainted.
He thought, I can't be hearing. What I'm hearing is not coming out of Jack.
Yeah, like there you go. Yeah, if David doesn't come on, I'll do Tony's mind blowers, and it'll be like a clip episode of Tony doing stuff wrong.
Mind blowers.
Yeah.
A Rick and Morty reference there.
Yeah. Hello, Tony. He is
No. Oh, there we go.
useless. What happened?
Crashed, but at least it wasn't my whole laptop what crashed this time. It was just Hangouts.
You missed Jack giving you the only compliment that he's ever done.
Oh, typical. Oh, that is typical.
Now I might as well just lick this 5S.
Please do. That would be better than anything.
That really hurts.
What was the compliment? I totally didn't hear anything. I was watching the chat. We got some a lot of people in. Thanks, Andy.
Great. Yeah. Well, you guys, you need more exposure because you get great people on here, like flight test guys, David. So.
Carlito, yourself.
No, not Carlito. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Don't encourage him.
Can I ask Carlito, because I'm never sure, your YouTube name, is it SeekND FPV or SeekND FPV?
SeekND.
SeekND.
Oh,
I wasn't sure if you were trying to say Seek and FPV sort of thing. So.
No, because that name has been with me for years, and it's part of the it was like a acronym for Seek and Destroy, because when I played Quake, that was
well, that's what I thought. Yes, but you say Andy. I just wasn't sure because I was trying to promote your channel and I didn't know how to say it properly. But I got it right, luckily.
Can I get?
It was either that or Dr. Doom. But
can I get my Can I get whatever Jack said nice about me, please?
No, you can watch it on playback. It's gone now.
I have to watch it back now.
That's it.
Gone forever.
If I catch you masturbating to it, you're dead.
Again.
Wait, Carlito. I heard that.
Okay.
Maybe Carlito isn't so bad.
But yes, it was related to redundancy, Tony, and the fact that redundancy and you making an effort to make sure everything's set up correctly.
And then his motor mount fell off.
Yes, but at least you had an opportunity still to fly the thing with the motor mount falling off. But yeah, it was a really good point, Jack, and I've seen it in a couple of these recent RTFs I've been sent to review. The Diatone GT2 was another one. Big yellow warning card with lots of really good points, well written about flying responsibly, and if this is because it's ready to fly, you're not entirely sure who's buying this. You can't always assume it's someone that's been doing this for a while, and this could be the first drone for someone. So I think manufacturers need to do a bit more to just keep that kind of thing coming. And because we don't have redundancy on quadcopters, you just don't. One motor fails at the minute until they. I mean, there is a way around it, but they haven't programmed any of that in. But if you lose a motor, it's a single point of failure. You haven't got the redundancy, really. I
know, and it's amazing that DJI use a lot of quadcopters.
There is a way to actually go into a colossal yaw spin and actually sustain the quad and keep it in the air with the motor down, but it's then still powered and now spinning very fast towards the ground. But yeah.
I've had a hexacopter fail. One motor failed on me, not an ESC. It was actually a motor.
See, that's fine. You can have two outside pickup.
That just went, ooh,
yeah, those spin around as well.
And I managed to land it safely, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got a bit more than 4 keeping you in the air, but yeah. Can I just shout out Mikey Dredd has just been promoted. He is now a pilot for Menace RC. So well done, Mikey Dredd.
Good on you.
Good on you, mate.
Yes,
Sorry.
We like Menace.
Yeah.
We like Menace. They make good stuff. We love Greg.
Yeah, we love their antennas. So good on you, Mikey.
Got your sticker on the back of my phone.
Look at that. Look.
Yay. And I've got a Clean Flight one as well. So only stuff that I like gets on there. Fair play though. A lot of people are getting sponsored I do like, people were talking about Steel and stuff and whether they like him in the chat. He is actually a good guy deep down. I think the whole him being a dick's a bit of a defense facade. And when I spoke to him at the UK meetup, I did ask him if I could chat to him again. And David, you're a mod now, so it means you can post links and add a straw poll, like add a list of people so they can write things to punch. But yeah, so we can talk to Steel at one point and like have a little bit of. I'm just waiting for all the Steel's left Rotor Riot and people hate each other and I don't know. How are you guys finding Rotor Riot nowadays? Like I found it really weird about Tommy. Like literally, he released an episode that's exactly the same as Rotor Riot, the drifting, like days before. So it was almost pointless watching Rotor Riot.
Yeah, I agree. But
I thought that Chad kind of said that Tommy was kind of sort of heading up Rotor Riot a little bit now, or that was the plan. Is that not?
Yeah,
he's
the
case
like,
now, or?
He's in charge, isn't he? He's like,
yeah.
I think they've all got their own successful channels, haven't they? So it's kind of, when you watch Rotor Riot, it just becomes like a mix of all their channels put together. And sometimes it's like when you have when you like two bands and they've got the same singer and everyone says, oh, it sounds like the other band kind of thing. It's kind of like that sort of thing with Rotor Riot, I think. But
I agree. But
I did like
it's better than putting the news on, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something that something that Latino said in the chat. It's about mathematical algorithms is what keeps you in the air, nothing to do with spinning. Yes, it is a mathematical algorithm, you're right, but I was pretty sure with a quadcopter, if you lost one arm, to be able to stay in there, that would require some spinning to stop the non-thrust arm from dropping.
Yeah.
So it's both, but yes, I get what know what Latino's saying.
The thing is, all flight is a mathematical algorithm because of PIDs and trigonometry and stuff. But what you're saying is, because the reason why our motors are spin different directions on
a torque differential.
Yeah, to counteract gyroscopic precession. Is that right? And then once you lose that motor, then the two motors that spin, and then that will make the body spin the other way from those motors spinning, and that's what keeps you in the air. So then you become what are they called? Honeysuckle lead?
Sycamore.
Yeah, sycamore seeds. That's it. Yeah.
Or a tricopter.
No, I don't know. We should get David on because he actually knows what he's talking about.
It'd just be a tricopter, but instead of being able to tilt the tail rotor, it'd be stuck vertically, and then that's going to spin.
David, write something in the chat so we don't sound like dickheads.
I was saying an interesting.
That's what this showdown's all about, really, isn't it?
I've got something odd here.
Why do you keep saying race fly? Don't you mean beta fly, NJ?
When did I say race flight?
Base flight.
I've never heard NJ ever say base flight.
He did. Earlier on, he said base flight.
I said race flight. Base flight. Going way back now. Yeah, have you seen this little guy? So I've got to review this at some point. But so that is it looks like a tricopter. It's not. It's a quadcopter flirting.
Y4.
Yeah, I know someone.
There you go. Carlos got it in one. This is a Y4, and it is essentially like having the two motors, one motor inverted and then stuck along one axis. But it's quadcopter. Interesting though.
Got one.
Is it like this one?
And it's quite fast.
There you go. Just like
get
one
that
of those.
raggy shit off this channel. There's Tony. The only one.
I like it, Carlito. I like things that are a little different like that.
What's it like for tuning?
I'll tell you when I mess around with it. What do you think, Carlito? Because you've got one that flies on works.
Yeah, you have to put a different prop in the bottom. So if you take a look, you have three. What are these? Actually, these are the wrong props, but it doesn't matter.
That's
45.
That's not even underneath. Sorry to interrupt, but can you show that? That's like. How does that work? That's not even directly underneath.
Is this because of a loss in efficiency on the motor underneath?
Yeah.
It's probably
Otherwise,
just motors, isn't it?
when you punch out, it goes like that slightly.
Skids
But
around.
if you
Makes
put like
sense.
a bigger prop, if you put the bigger prop on the bottom, then it works much better. I mean, you still feel a little bit of drift, but it's much less.
Wow, that's the first time I've ever seen formation like that with the motor forward.
See all the coolest stuff on this
Yeah,
show.
Beta flight takes care of all of that. It doesn't really.
This is why I mod people, because they're great. Matty Carla says, for once I agree with Jack. It sure sounded like you said base flight for both times, but second time my brain automatically translated it to race flight. I just love that. Like, positive dig at Jack, mother. Andy, what is AndyRC Army about? Have you like made your own cult?
No, Andy.
So I'm not sure whether I want to drink your Kool-Aid, mate.
There's somebody else that in the comments.
What is the AndyRC? I bet you've got a fan club. Oh, AndyRC, I really like it. I bet that person who sent you that really stalky message has made you a little fan club.
No,
and it's really
it's the first I've heard of it.
What's your PO
Can I
box?
join it? I want to join our.
I think maybe they're just saying. I think maybe they're just saying that they're here from the video that I made yesterday, because there's no army that I'm aware of.
Are you disbanding your army then?
No, it's fine. Join the army. Can I join?
You're the commander. We're going to have to give you strike.
Commander-in-Chief.
I am not a leader of anything.
So now every time that address AndyRC, you got to salute. Yeah.
No, I would take that.
Every time he speaks, everyone do that.
Yeah.
It's my worst.
So, yes, sir.
All right, Andy.
We love AndyRC.
Oh, he's not happy. He's sulking.
No, I'm not sulking. No.
And you always have to say AndyRC. You just can't say Andy without
He's got to
saying.
address his full title.
Well, it's because we've got two Andrews, haven't we? So
No, he's
Frank.
That's
What the hell are you on about? There's two Andrews. What?
You've known that by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to completely confuse everyone.
It will.
AndyRC is great. I built my first quad using how to build cheap quadcopter series.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's.
Have you updated that series yet?
I have. Well, kind of. I did a build of the floss, which is like I sort of did like every time I was talking to NJ about this. Sort of every time there's a new step in components. So we had the 32-bit ESCs come out. So I did a build on that and how to do it, but we haven't really had many big changes yet. So yeah, the floss was the last one that I did a few months ago, and I've got a micro build coming up as well that I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I try and update it every time we get new components and stuff.
I'd also like to point out that there is a beautiful friendship blooming. If you think me and Tony are made for each other, NJ and AndyRC really like have bonded in the LDO chat, and like they kind of do their little reviewer thing that none of us are a part of, because
they end each other's sentences.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because like me and Tony would never be trusted with reviewing anything, because like we didn't expect you to test it by putting it in your mouth.
Andy, send us something to review, and I will go to Jack's.
That would literally be the worst review ever
like
in the planet.
City, it would be like. Has anyone seen Rick and Morty? That's me and Jack.
Yeah, about that. We're going to do a special Halloween special. I think you should all tune in.
Definitely going to do a Rick and Morty Halloween special.
Yeah, so.
If you can guess who's who.
It's an interesting question.
Skinny arms, is that it?
Yeah. What do you all think of the new frames with skinny arms and vertical arms? So I'll just say this before we start that subject. In terms of when people talk about aerodynamics of quad, there's nothing, zero absolutely nothing
There's
that
no-
a quadcopter offers aerodynamically. It doesn't do
Yeah.
anything. No power, it falls out the sky. All you're maintaining is induced drag, or you're managing induced drag. So having vertical arms, it's a really big and complicated topic. And I'm not entirely convinced by some of the wind tunnel tests that I've seen. Hello, Kitty. But yeah, it's
vertical arms. Sorry, that's
vertical
what I think
arms.
of.
I think it's as I said, you're brute forcing your way around the sky. Vertical arms will have their pluses and minuses. They do reduce the drag or the induced drag on the quadcopter, but the whole quad is, no matter which way you look at it, a giant draggy mess. Pretty much in almost every regard. There's nothing beautiful about the way air flows around a quadcopter. I'm sorry, there's just not. Sorry to destroy the romance in that.
I tend to find because
I agree.
I've got
I'd just like to point out I was wanking off a battery whilst Carlito was stroking his pussy. I'd just like to. Sorry, AndyRC. Please carry on.
That's fine. All I was going to say on that was I've got a few of these frames, not with the vertical arms, but with the thinner arms, and I find them a lot more floaty. And I don't know if that's because there's sort of less resistance of the airflow coming from the props, like there's less deflection coming off because they're skinnier. So I find that you get way more airtime. But I was talking to NJ about this as well. It's different characteristics. People might not like the fact that when you come down on the throttle, it sort of floats down rather than the weight of the thing sort of makes it drop really quickly. So
one thing you will notice as well is the quad will be quieter.
Fossils was the first one to do the vertical arm on the Revo, and Smokey is our top pilot, and he's winning quite a lot using the Revo, and it comes down to takeoff, like his takeoff speeds, that first like beep 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 beep, that instant of clean air seems to be getting him in front, and it works. And if you listen to any of the podcasts,
nothing left behind a quadcopter is clean air. But I see what you're saying, but I do think there's a big element of skill.
Is what I'm talking about. The first lot of clean air over the arms in that first punch out. If anyone watches the guy from Australia, who I've forgotten his name, he's been reviewing vertical arms. Yeah, g'day.
Let me say this as well. There's something I just want to leave in this place for you to go away and if you so desire to research. One of the biggest problems, the hammer's out. One of the biggest problems, I mean, the Revo's a fantastic frame, but the actual string on the Revo, the Dyneema, should I say, have you ever seen what happens to a cord with smoke passing it in a wind tunnel? And you notice, like you've mentioned to me before, that they make a whistle, okay, when you get to a certain speed that the Revos whistle. Now, do you know what whistling is?
Oscillation.
Correct. It's an oscillation.
Take that, Hufflepuff.
And if you actually, if you ever, you can actually see like some of the wind tunnel tests on things like the old biplanes, and if you remember, you had the old biplanes, the amount of cross sections with all strained with wires and cords. If you actually see a section of air as it's seen through a smoke tunnel passing through that, the mess that leaves behind again is absolutely, this is again one of the reasons, also a contributing factor to why biplanes and planes with that kind of wires all over it that are exposed to the airflow were so slow. But as I said, it's hugely complicated. But as I said, don't associate aerodynamics with quadcopters. It's not the way to think of it. It's about drag management.
Do you know what I've always really wanted to do with Tony's Revo is like cut out little clothes in like A4 bits of paper and then stick it like a little washing line on his Revo. I think that'd be really like little socks. It's like little fairy pegs you get on Christmas cards. Yeah, man. I think
know what you're saying. At the moment, motors way outperform aerodynamics. Like, you just shove yourself through the air at the moment.
That Revo 3, though, with no washing line, is 3 inches thick. That thing does rip dicks off, even though it's only 3 inches.
Yeah, that sounds definitely like something I'd like to check out.
It's fast, man. The little 3-inch.
Have any of you guys ever watched Kebab FPV? He does a lot of stuff. It's actually a guy.
I hate his name, but I have watched it.
So tasty.
He does a lot of stuff.
You can get vegetarian kebabs, Tony. Vegan.
Yeah, I know. Just don't like the name.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry, AndyRC.
He does a lot of stuff on because I think he's the designer of the floss, and he's got a lot of opinions on all the disk loading theory and stuff like that. If you want to go and check that out, but
there's only a certain amount of speed you can get up to on a racetrack anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Tony, you got a question for once. Someone actually wants to ask you something. Hang on.
Spell my name with an I, so that can't be me.
I approve of that, really. That's the girl spelling, isn't it?
What is the question of the girl spelling name? I may answer it, or I may totally ignore it.
I'll put it in the chat.
Tony, watched Steve flying with a kid. Track he knows really well. Kiddo was killing him. Watched the bit about him complain how fast he was taking off, disappearing. What is that? That must be to do with vertical arms. That first bit of punch from the vertical arms, like the clean air around the vertical arms. There's got to be clean air there. We've done tests on it.
No.
Faster taking off with vertical arms than not vertical arms.
It's a flying brick blender. It doesn't work.
It does. I've done tests.
Do you want me to tell you a secret?
The Earth's not flat. Yeah, we all fucking know.
That's where you're wrong.
That's not the secret. I'm gonna exemplify. I have a video to do about this, but I haven't had time yet. Most quads use, so if this is the front of the quad, right? Most quads have the battery facing front like this, right? That means that when you place the quad on the floor, it's either going to tip left or right. And the liftoff capabilities are going to go up, not front, right? Unless you start tilting, but then you're probably going to hit the props on the floor. If you turn the battery sideways, you have yourself an inbuilt quad tilter, or whatever you want to call it. You know, the little things that people put their quads in to go faster. And that's what makes you go faster in the beginning of a race, because you're not going up and forward. You're just going forward right away.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Can't wait for
Please do that in
NJ
sign
to rip that
language.
to shit.
No. Look, we've got Paul Bitmatta in the comment section. The first thing I was going to ask Paul, if he's still there listening, was
it's like at Paul, right?
Was about the FrSky thing and why they switched to Crossfire for racing, because we discussed that earlier. So yeah, if Paul's there, jump in.
Paul Bitmatta, mate.
Yeah.
I think on the note of that reasonable, actual drone-related conversation.
I know, this is great. This is more my speed. I like this. We should do this.
But I think, unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap up the podcast there. So anyone
don't have to.
He's answering next week's episode.
So do that. We can carry on.
We'll have to end there, but the conversation can carry on, but it'll just stay on YouTube and never ever reach iTunes. So
why does it have to stop? I'm up for another 20 minutes.
If you want to pay the editor for another hour of editing, then feel free.
The editor
what
quit.
Editing?
Editor hates Tony.
Yeah.
It's live. What editing?
To get it onto iTunes, to take out the swearing so that it doesn't get taken down from
I think we
iTunes.
did well.
Mother. With a
Let's
beep.
do another beep.
We are
Beeping minute.
talking about you.
Right, AndyRC, I've seen this twice in the chat. Please answer: Sparrow or Swift Micro?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Well, I would
email you the link, Paul. Sorry.
The Sparrow, it's 16:9 for a start, and it's CMOS. So, I mean, I'm using both of them. So if I want to go and fly 16:9, then I use the Sparrow Micro. Come on, Carlitos, he's dying to throw up over. conversation.
You
Have you
need
tried the
to-
Sparrow?
You need to be wearing V3 goggles for that then. 'Cause
Well,
if-
or the on-way goggles or the visor goggles.
anything
Yeah,
16:9, yeah?
yeah.
So if I was wearing my Dom V2s, it would not be
It'd-
good for me.
Nah, it'd be all stretched and squished. Yeah. So it depends on your goggles and how. You know, a lot of people are fine flying 4x3 through 16:9 visor goggles, because Sky Zones, that was the only choice that you had because there's no 16:9 cameras. So I like them both though. I thought it was a great camera, the Sparrow, the micro.
Yeah, I'm waiting for mine as well to turn up because I've spent, I know we sort of covered this last week, but I spent so much time messing around with the Monster, and I like flying in 16:9, but I could, even the Monster V2, I couldn't quite get that picture to work in the dynamic range the way CCD does. Yeah, with good exposure in the hard lighting contrast conditions. Because the latency test on the Monster 2, the Monster 2 is actually quicker than the HS 1177, which is amazing. So if the Sparrow does that, which I know from your footage looks like it does, the Sparrows could be a real winner for me personally.
Yeah. My problem, NJ, is that I fly a lot of the micros that come with the little tiny all-in-one cameras that are CMOS, and when you go from that to a Sparrow, it's light and day, you know. So I think
absolutely, yeah, wicked. Paul Bitmatta,
hang on.
Is he there?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Hello, mate.
Hey, hang on. I'll just message Dave as well. Can I just throw a spanner in the works just before, the sensible stuff? Sorry. What do you guys think of this? Hang on. Share screen.
Naked wrestling between
No.
you and
Present to everyone. There you go. I'm just going to play this, but you guys can carry on talking.
What are we watching?
What's she going to do with the baby?
Baby left, baby right. Is she going to breastfeed?
A drone that carries your child is terrifying.
Oh, it's the title, right?
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. Paul, NJ.
Hey. Sorry, it's first thing in the morning.
Paul.
I'm asleep. How are you, AJ? How are you, guys?
I'm good, man. Good to hear from you.
Right.
I just caught on the conversation about the the vertical arms and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, it was. Do you know what
Give us your input.
Screw you guys.
My input, I think, is I'm probably very biased because I've been very heavily influenced with Thomas always proving me wrong. But I think you obviously get more thrust because obviously the props there's a lot less surface area for them to sort of combat with. That's I think where you get the most gains. But having said that, I'm not sure if there's any pilots at the moment capable of flying those quads at their limit.
Okay. So what do you think about vertical arm start? Like the beep beep beep. The first bit of clean air.
Are you talking about vertical arms on the quad, or are you talking about vertically tilting the quad up so it actually
Vertical
takes
arms
off?
on the quad and the fact that you get the clean air as soon as you start the motor and can get in. Get in the lead, basically.
I don't think it's so much.
I mean, Carlito is laughing. Yeah.
This is the most bizarre conversation I've ever seen happen over a drone carrying a baby.
A phantom dragging a kid in the background.
Maybe they should try vertical arms on it.
Yeah, I think the long and short of what Tony was asking was, do you think the vertical arm quadcopters
I'm going to stop. I can't do it anymore.
Off the block?
Yeah, give you that advantage.
It depends on the track. What usually we'll see happen in a lot of races is people will take off faster with the vertical arms, but then coming into the first turn, they've got so much speed that they completely overshoot the turn.
Okay.
So I think if you're capable at flying one of those quads and you're capable at flying it to its limit, it's doable, but I don't know how many pilots are at that level at the moment. I certainly know I don't think Thomas is anywhere near that level where he can actually fly something where, I mean, even when we went to Muncie, Indiana, a lot of the guys there weren't flying these super duper aerodynamic quads, which is the kind of thing that I was expecting. None of the quads had super slick. I mean, some did, but for the most part, I'm talking about the people that were in the top 10. None of them had super sleek arms or anything like that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think the flying skill level at the moment isn't there. Had super sleek.
Right,
David.
Hey, we've got David here.
David. It's a full
Let's
house
get everyone on.
tonight, isn't it?
Everyone,
Look at
just
that.
send links to everyone.
Yeah, I know. That's what happens, though. Like now and again, like Let's Try Now, just you're right, Dave.
Hey, David.
David, talk.
Talk.
About what? Hey, I want to say hi to Paul.
Hello, David. Thomas is going to be getting up in about 5 minutes. He's going to freak out when he sees you on.
Oh, that's good.
Or I think you should put your camera on him whilst he's sleeping, and then wake him up and be like,
Do that.
You can whisper softly in his ear.
Windestal has been watching you sleep.
No, he's
And,
going to be shitty with me, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But I
he'll
forgot
then
what.
have to spend some of his like drone-winning money on serious counselling.
Yes, yes.
That's the whole point of being a father, though, to mess up your kids, isn't it? That's why Tony's not allowed to breed anymore. David said.
Just the little things.
We do our
Yeah.
best.
It is as little as possible, right?
David, are you going to use my rocket?
No.
You rock. Oh, you. Yes, I will cut a coconut for you, Tony.
Thank you. And
For a minute, then I thought it was on about we used my rocket in my pants.
I thought it was like a secret code, you know.
And-
Go thing, you know, he's like,
what if I do this?
remember.
You know, you do rocket knife. Can I be the? Can I send you a PM of the rocket fist? Rocket fist.
I need to like properly get my mic set up for him and just like have his like little Christmas jingle like.
Hey, if anyone that wants to record one and send me, just do it. I'll use it.
Send it to RC Explorer at
No,
What?
David at rcexplorer.sc. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man.
Right, I'm sending mine in a minute.
Is it cold there? It looks slightly cold.
Yeah, we keep it pretty cold in the house too, and I haven't had a time to throw stuff in the what do you call that? Fireplace? Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it.
usually.
You
Yeah.
got a dog.
And is that a onesie you're wearing?
Actually, no, but I don't know. I mean,
Close
I'm in
enough.
the sofa. It's very, very cozy. I have the dog here too.
Oh God, what was I going to say? David, give me two things for two more things for you to fist. I just God damn,
Tony,
it's really hard
Tony.
being your friend sometimes.
Dibs on Tony.
How's it going to work? I'm interested how it's going to work because I love rocket
But
knives.
say I've got watermelon. Give me something else that you want to fist.
Got to be coconut.
You don't fist the coconut. You knife the coconut, surely.
Yeah, you got a knife for coconut.
Yeah, what I wanted to do was do a mold of a face and then fill that with jello and
do Jack's face.
Oh, Jack's face. Yeah, I need to scan.
Jack's face. Like that would be so good getting that.
You know what we need to
make it happen.
To rock,
How
rocket
you
knife.
got through airport security, I never know. I will never.
I was so nervous. I was just because in my bag is a bulletproof vest,
All normal things. I don't see any problem.
and 2 computers.
No problem. And cables hanging out.
Wires and stuff hanging
And
out.
a lipo battery and a giant fist. I'm not making a sex robot, I swear.
Dude, I have an idea for you for rocket knife.
Yep.
You rocket knife a knife into another knife. But here's the twist. Wait. You connect one knife with a positive and the other knife with a negative of some high voltage. So when they actually meet each other and like rocket knife each other, some big spark is going to happen somewhere.
You cannot say rocket knife without saying rocket knife. You just can't. It's just illegal.
Oh, I absolutely love that idea. That we weld together friction and current. Oh, I
That's
like
amazing.
You could do flint as well. 2 bits of flint. That would make loads of sparks.
Oh yeah.
You know, or the old, you know, the magnesium fire starters.
Yeah.
A whole rail of that would be pretty sick.
I don't know if I can get those in Sweden.
Why? What, is that a legal thing?
Just come and buy it here and take it on the plane.
Yeah.
Something else to carry on?
He's honestly, they're going to be like, so you've come to England like 4 times now. Are you a drug mule?
What's that, officer? I can't carry 5 kilos of magnesium in my carry-on.
Is Tom awake?
No, he's going to be awake shortly. I'll get ready to go to the room.
Take the laptop into there with all us lot chatting.
Paul,
All shout out, wake up.
I have to ask Paul a question quickly, just because we chat a lot tonight about Crossfire, but can you tell us the reason why you switched over? Because we talked about problems at races with everyone on FrSky. Can you just quickly highlight your experience with that?
Okay, look, the story with us was we weren't planning on jumping on the Crossfire bandwagon, only because we haven't been doing long-range flying for ages. So hence, that's what I sort of associate Crossfire with. When we were in Muncie, Indiana, Trappy was asking whether Thomas would be interested in trying the Crossfire out for latency, because he was running through where it was going to be quicker, and he wanted to know how much would someone like Thomas actually feel. Would he feel it, like, would it be significant enough for him to actually want to change over? Was the latency actually noticeable? So hence, we agreed to actually try it out. He sent us a unit. I probably had it for about 2 weeks, and I hadn't installed it yet. And we had a competition coming up in Adelaide, and it's at the Royal Show. So hence, they've got a lot of RF noise. They've got TV cameras there. They have about 10,000 spectators. There's lots of mobile phones, Wi-Fi, and all that sort of stuff. And last year when we raced at that race, Thomas's FrSky was fail-safing. And this year, the same sort of thing was actually happening. They tried to improve things, but people were still experiencing fail-safes with I think Futaba it was. Spectrum, the Orony was actually worked. I've got no idea why Spectrum worked, but it did.
Wow.
And also, so it was FrSky and Futaba that were having dramas, and we were running FrSky. Cut a long story short, the day before the race, I got word that a whole lot of guys were having dramas with FrSky. So we had the one Crossfire, we installed it, got it going, and hence the latency was definitely better. And obviously on the track, it actually worked well. But we essentially put it on for better control link, because we knew we were in an environment where there was just a massive amount of RF noise. That was our main reason. But now I've actually got a second one now for myself, so I'm switching over to it too.
And you say that Thomas really noticed he did notice the latency improvement.
Yeah, look, without a doubt. The way Trappy described it, he described it in such a way that he's almost implied that it has to be a really like a really high-end pilot, and you would notice it. Well, that's what he was sort of alluding to. Thomas flew with it and said to me straight away, even at my level, I would notice it for sure. He said, there's no way known you won't notice it. So I think if you're anywhere from intermediate and on, you would actually notice it. If you're a beginner, you're probably not going to notice it, because your coordination is your bigger issue than actually the latency. So hence, I haven't flown with it yet. I will probably fly with it this weekend, so I'm interested to know. So we might do a video with myself and see whether someone at my skill level would actually notice it or not. But Thomas is really confident that I will, and I sort of trust his judgment. I mean, you flew with it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was the same experience for me, and it was something I'd kind of forgotten about, because I had some issues with binding initially, and when I got the whole thing working, I ran out just to go and try it and fly it, and it was actually out of my head, the whole latency thing. Completely didn't think about it, and as soon as I flew, it almost caught me off guard, like, wow, just totally immediately noticed the response difference. So, which I'm kind of relieved about, because I thought if I don't notice this and Thomas does, then God, I'm getting old and slow, but I did.
That is the problem.
Yeah, I'm super glad I did notice it, and I agree. It did feel fairly apparent. So yeah, I'm really liking it.
Across the board, I think that's been the consensus. I mean, just about everyone's feeling it. I mean, if you're in tune with your quad, you will feel it for sure. There's no two ways about it at all. And the way Thomas also described it was coming into a gate, that last minute correction you've got to put in. He just felt he was more in tune with the quad, and it was a lot easier to get through gates, etc. Especially at high speeds and when you're offline, just that last minute correction. So he felt it straight away. And even with the motors he chose to run for that race, he went with 2750 kV. And what he noticed was, even down low, because those motors don't have as much control because they're a higher kV motor, but because the latency was reduced, it felt as though down low it was actually more in control than it was before, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Well, that's great to have some validation from the champ anyway.
You think Trappy wouldn't care about latency because like he's really stoned all the time? He'd just be like, yeah, man, it all moves. I like to imagine him as Neo, like everything moves really slowly for him.
Yeah, that's what happens, Jack.
Yeah.
He's pretty chill, that's for sure. Especially at this race.
You said when you piss him off, right? You piss him off, he wants to kill your ass.
Yeah. We've seen both sides of him. He's seen my nasty side too, so we've clashed a few times, but for the most part,
no way, really?
No, we actually have. We actually have, seriously. But having said that, what I do actually like about Trappy is, unlike some people, you can have a disagreement with him, and you can turn around and say, look, you're a douchebag, you know what I mean, or whatever. Just walk away thinking you're both idiots, you know what I mean? But he doesn't actually seem to hold a grudge. Well, he hasn't held a grudge against me, you know what I mean? You can still have a civil conversation. You can have a disagreement and leave it at that. Whereas I know some people, if you have a disagreement with, it's like the end of the world. They've decided they completely write you off and they don't want to have anything to do with you, you know what I mean? And realistically, there's nothing wrong with having a disagreement and not seeing eye to eye. So that's one thing. We'll see how it goes over the next few years, whether he's still nice towards me or not, whether he hates me or not. I'm not sure. We'll probably have a few more clashes, but for the most part, look, he's been really good.
Yeah, good
I know. Like, I reckon you just have one or two arguments with him, and then he kind of gets over it, really.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, some people, you can have one little tiny argument about the smallest of things. I had one guy that got upset with me because on Facebook I posted I was thinking about getting solar panels, and he decided solar panels on a house roof were terrible. And most people wouldn't give a crap whether I got solar panels or not. But for this guy, because we agreed to disagree, it really got under his skin. And realistically, it was about solar panels, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like,
I bought Tony a chicken once. He went ape shit.
No comment.
No comment.
So, David, I've got to ask, what's happening in the world of tricopters with you?
He's changed his
Can you tell us?
That's it.
Oh, because I thought I was listening to the show. Like,
You're getting away with it.
okay, Tricopters. I'm working on some stuff, some fun stuff. Tricopters is so difficult with the servo. Like it's getting better. The developer of TriFly, Lauka, he's making amazing progress on it, but its tail servo is slow, and the CG is above the rotation axis, so you always get that throw in the opposite direction, which gets to the flight controller, and you get bad signal.
Guys.
Like, oh, it's a mess.
Hey, there he is.
David was watching you sleep, son.
Hey! How's it going?
There's the champ.
He's like,
Hey, go.
Hey, what's up, Thomas?
He's like the Swedish elf on a shelf. Is that right? Is that Swiss? Can't you get those firelighters on the Swedish Army knife? Oh no, that is Swiss.
Wow.
Let's get ready, right?
David, I've got something to show you.
Oh, so cute.
You always scares the living shit out of him when he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so cute.
There you go. And the servo just moves the little
That's so cool.
one on the back.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
tiny.
Missing an eye though.
Man, that is so sweet.
That is
But it's
morning.
the only try I can fly. Like
AndyRC,
I've tried so many times.
Have you ever reviewed a Swedish tricopter?
No, I'd love to though. I'd love to. I've never even flown a tricopter. In fact,
I know.
Oh, I haven't either.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's the #1 request that I get, but I don't know how to go about it. So it's something on the list to do definitely. And Carlitos, what's the story behind this micro? I've never seen that either.
This.
Yeah, what servo is that? Is a Hobby King one?
Well, it's not a Hobby King one.
I've got the mic muted.
What's it called? Blue Arrow. It's like an ultra micro servo.
Is it a kit, or have you built it up yourself?
No, this is from Matt Marciniak. So he has a site. Can I plug a site for him?
Micro drone.
Yeah, it's Let's Drone Out. No one cares.
Okay.
Andy, I can
micro
get
props, and he has like a little kit.
Yeah,
I can send you one if you want to review it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he'll send it.
That looks awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and it has like a little Pico board on the bottom. So it only the thing is that it only works with this type of board. But yeah, it flies amazingly.
It won't take David long to put the feedback.
Can I ask
line on
David?
it.
Does David still prefer to fly tricopters over quadcopters? Or are you coming round to fly?
Both have their merits, but yes, they do fly quads. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And the sizes, like compared to
Traitor.
it was tricopters were superior back when we got those huge quads and that because they didn't yaw fast enough.
Yeah.
But quads today and all the development time that have been put into quads, there's like millions of hours put into getting them to fly good.
Yeah.
Compared to tricopters where we probably have 100. Like it's, it's but still I love how you get that flowiness, the swooshiness.
Yeah. You have your own kits, don't you? I need to buy one and do a build. I watched your build video of it as well, and that was great. I love that. Yeah.
You're the only one, even though you speak in Swinglish, who explains endpoints and subtrim properly, David. That's what I love about you. Not because you're Swedish and you're mental, because you can teach an animal like me. You're one step away from Tony. If you teach Tony, you're like that fucking dude who smack some sense into Helen Keller.
Can someone put in the live chat? Can someone put the link to David's website, because I think some people want to look at the tricopter.
Yeah, Zero's put it in there. I think Zero's like doing it all the time.
Zero may have put it in there. RC Explorer, look, Matty Carlo's just put it in. So if you guys want to check it out,
is Carlitos giving us a live flight of this tricopter?
I'm trying. I don't remember how to anymore. I haven't flown this in ages.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've never seen that before. I don't know how I've not seen it. But...
I can't believe you've never flown a tricopter.
I know. I started off with like the 450 size, and then when it became sort of like the blackout, then I moved. I always wanted to build one of those wooden ones that David used to build years ago with the, with flight tests. Yeah, I never got around. I was always worried about the servo breaking because I flew planes a lot, and the servos they always go eventually.
Have you tried not crashing? I find that is the best thing for servos.
Yes, yeah. It's a tricky one.
Andy, I've just talked to the guy who Carlos got that from, and he's going to send you a built one.
There we go.
To review.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
If you talk to me later after the show, I'll give you details. I'll swap details. And
but I think that would be so popular, honestly. Yeah.
Well, it's coming, so that's going to happen.
Yeah, great. Oh, here we go. Sounds like
Okay.
Find a cat.
Yeah, don't
Oh, the cat's off.
point your camera down a bit more.
this is not a good advert for Tricopter.
Where's Paul off to? Like,
There it is.
Paul's like making
there we go.
breakfast.
I think Paul's making
There it
breakfast.
Yes.
There it goes.
That's at the moment.
It's like a ghost just hovering above the
There
ground.
it is. Right, see if you can
Ow.
shade with a Tricopter.
You're doing FPV then on your TX. You've got one of those. Is that a TBS TX you've got there?
Yeah.
Tango.
Yeah. I've never tried one of those either.
I'd just like to point out that the pussies at RC groups, man, there's gonna be a thread about me being like, fuck that guy. Only did half an hour tonight.
Look at that. There we go.
That's why you fly tricopters.
Is that the first live flight on Let's Drone Out as well?
I think it
Nah.
might be.
No,
No,
that was
it's not.
Stinger.
Yeah, Stinger Swarm was flying.
Look at this. It's incredible. Like, I can hover it better than a quad, like in front of the camera. It's crazy.
Look at that.
I wonder if you could.
Beautiful.
I wonder if you could hook it up so that you could see the FPV feed like through the
Yeah.
Oh,
I do
live stream.
Don't.
I do live
Andrew,
stream
like, buy an analog thing because of my gaming and stuff, man. Like, he's on my
There we
case.
go.
Don't remind him.
That's neat.
See the
That
little
is.
servo moving.
Can the guy send one to David? Has David got one?
David will just put a knife through it though.
Hey, he's totally done it for.
those tiny motors just flying off. One thing I love about the rocket knife thing, the thing that I'm looking at the entire time is usually the little slides getting cut up and pinging off.
I know, right? It's amazing that they react before the knife is there.
Well,
I
it
just
almost the one with the goat's bone. It looked like one got sliced in half. Like
it was so close. Yeah.
yeah. What's your favorite one that you've done so far? Do you think?
Good question.
That is amazing. Have you seen that link that Zero put up? Sorry, just ignore me.
No, I just got sides. Yeah, you Hufflepuff, freaking.
I hate that. That's all I get now. I get phone calls. Like, I get phone calls at like 12 o'clock at night from Gav being like, "You're right, Hufflepuff," and I'm like, "God damn you, David! Not your kidneys!"
What the hell is that?
A dual copter.
Yeah, man. Like, Zero just posts the sickest stuff.
Wow.
So weird.
Like, goddamn, Zero, can you please learn English so we can have you on here, like, for crying out loud? Sake. David did it.
I bet that's not easy to tune. That's all I'm thinking when I'm doing that.
FPV.
If you fly that line of sight, which way is forward?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy as well in India that randomly added me on Facebook and I was like my channel. And he builds this dual and unicopters out of stuff that you find in the house. Now, when I say that, most people think, oh yeah, like of balsa and stuff. No, I mean like of Tupperwares and duct tape and whatever you have in the kitchen kind
I've
of
seen
stuff.
Tupperware quad before. That'd be-
Crazy stuff, man. But dual copters.
Did anybody see that video of that lady? She was like in a bikini or something, and it was like a manned quadcopter and just on a lake, just hovering around. Like that's
Mine only
crazy.
had a lady though. Mine only had a lady.
Yeah.
She was taking like of like parts of the clothes slowly and.
Oh
So
yeah,
you-
no, that's a different video, Carlos.
Oh,
I
no.
think.
yeah, that's late night video. Carlos.
No, but it goes back to when we were talking about all it takes is a prop or a motor to stop, and the thing flips over. Imagine that happening, because like on a quadcopter that you stand on, there's no chance you get me on
So
or something
sick.
like that. Giant
RC
Lego space shuttle.
space shuttle, yeah, with weird motor elevons. Is that right? What are they called? David, you're sensible.
Uh,
Because I'm in Hufflepuff.
I'm gonna say thrust.
What?
I'm just gonna throw out thrusterons.
Motorons. That's not, you're making it up. We're just trying to
I really like that.
stupid.
Thrusterons is great. That's what we're going with.
Oh, mate. That sounds like Captain Scarlet.
Thrusterons and Thrudders.
Oh, I love it. I have to put feathers on it.
Oh my god. What the hell is wrong with this show? How does like
Too many
can you show this show to your YouTube lady? And she'll be like, I'm destroying that immediately. This needs to end.
Oh my gosh.
I know, like she'd be like, you guys are worse than Hitler.
That's a fairly tall order. I don't think we're as bad as mass genocide.
Yeah, true.
Close though.
Oh man. Right, I've had enough of that. Oh, Simone Yates is so hot though.
So we have the champion of the world in FPV, and we're not asking him any questions.
Yeah,
because he's having breakfast.
He's having his breakfast.
Yeah, I know, like man, like let him. Like he's probably brushing his teeth. Like, what do you want to know?
Does the champion of the world brushes his teeth like normal people?
Hey,
do?
there they are.
Hello.
What's for breakfast? I need ideas for tomorrow.
Cocoa Pops.
Oh,
Cocoa
sick.
Puffs.
That's what
There we have
Chad
it.
eats.
First,
If you want to win races, eat Cocoa Pops.
the best news only here on Let's Drone Out.
Isn't it?
Oh, God.
So what's on the schedule, Thomas?
Hero,
what's-
link me.
Wait, let me just pop up the volume so I can hear. Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I was just saying, what's on the schedule now? Have you when's the next race? And you just chilling for a bit or practicing furiously? What's the schedule like?
So for me right now, mainly focusing on practice. Hopefully soon. This is like my last month at school, so like today I've got a practice, like a trial run of an exam. So I think these next few weeks gonna be school oriented. As far as big races go, nothing planned yet. There was one we were going to go to, but it falls right at the beginning of my exam, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it. Yeah, that's the Korea one. So after that,
Everyone thinks you're going.
yeah, everyone thinks I'm going because they posted that I'm going.
You can't take him to Korea. They'll bloody stick him in a boy band. I know. Hold it near that. Damn it. Tell your dad. Like, God damn, I have to text him. No, you've got his phone. God damn it.
And what can
You know what?
of practice for you, Thomas? What, do you just literally burn pack after pack around the track, or is there something specific you can give to as tips for anyone that's interested? And
Becoming the world champion.
I guess for me, it was pretty much just doing whatever I felt like I needed to, whether it was just a racetrack or maybe there was something I wasn't happy with, like maybe how I was doing a slalom or something, and I'd, focus more on that for like a day or something. Other than that, though, I guess we're kind of lucky in Melbourne. We've got 2 clubs that do racing monthly, which means at the very least I was getting 2 races a month, which is kind of good because it gave me lots of race experience. It's not the same as like skill building and stuff like that, but it's still it's a different kind of training.
Amazing. That's really good to know. Yeah, I will say the one thing that always blows my mind when I'm watching you race is always how fast you take the slalom, and that's something that whenever I've tried anything like that on a track, I've always been quite nose down going around anything that's sort of moderately like a slalom. But I noticed you actually bank quite heavily into your slalom. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few different ways you can go around. That's just what I do.
It definitely seems to work.
And he's always so cool about it as well. He's like, yeah, well, I won, but yeah, I could have done better. He always says that.
Always.
Yeah. I love that.
I think we need to have some type of like challenger series where the
Don't
fastest
encourage
pilots
Tony.
just no, not Tony.
I just got a second at Suffolk. Thank you very much, Carl.
Oh God, I was waiting for how long? Oh my God,
No,
it was
I
1
kinda
hour
wanna see-
and 36 minutes it took for him to mention that.
Look,
I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see Tom versus like Benny, for example, in a pre, I don't know, like an organized match, like if it was boxing or something, but for
yeah.
quads.
There is something wrong with you pitting school kids against each other. Like, honestly, we've really moved on from bullying, but here we have Mr. Seek and Destroy coming in today. So he's dug a big pit out in the schoolyard, and he's filled it full of gasoline, and will be entering. Winner gets dinner.
And you all got
Gets,
to got to stand in a circle shouting, flight, flight, flight.
Flight.
Oh, he's such a dad joke. Paul would be proud. Only if you have the password for the ports and the pickup unit. Sorry, I'm talking to Frank.
What do you think though, Paul? Can you beat Benny?
Sorry.
I have no clue.
I
He's
want
really
you to
quick.
win.
I was like,
He is really
Monkey.
quick.
Cheeky. He's got foul mouth.
I mean,
Or would you like
know,
to? Would you like to like, challenge
race.
Benny in a race?
oh, of course, I would love racing. I'd love to challenge anyone. So, but yeah, it'd be definitely an interesting race. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Maybe we could do a pay-per-view, you know, like the
There we go.
boxing.
Will you all stop trying to monetize Thomas?
I know. Like, only like one step away from oiling him up and throwing him into a ring. I'd just like to point that out.
Well,
I think Paul can't hear this.
I think we'd all be very interested to watch the race together. Though.
Wait, are we talking about a race or are we talking about a fight?
both. At this point,
well, about a race, I would love to do a race.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
But not a fight, just to clear that up.
No, a race would be
You
cool.
didn't say no.
Pay-per-view race. I think that would draw in some money, you know.
Oh, definitely. I'd watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love Danny to be listening to this and him be like, "You what?" You know, like drops his iPad. No, I think he's in bed by now because of private school.
Can anyone hit him up and see if he's about? Come on.
I ain't got his phone number.
I've got Messenger. I can message him.
Someone's bound to
get
message
him on
being
too.
Like, this dickheads at Let's Drone Out are like dissing you again because he refused to come on the
Not
show.
dissing him.
He's been on a couple of times.
He hasn't. Yeah, he comes on. He's just like, "Arr!" And they're like, "What?"
All I can say is to these young lads is like when they
Stay in school. Drugs are bad.
When I was your age.
Yeah. Don't listen to Tony. It's a miracle he's still got all his teeth.
I'm the youngest looking here. Look at all you lot. Let's go through them.
What do you mean?
Andy looks
Thomas?
12.
Can I just say, right? Can I just say,
I'm the youngest here.
I started flying at 7, right? And it was
A
really...
year ago.
No, it was like 25 years ago,
Yes.
26 years ago. And it was really easy to pick up. And as I've got older, I found it just
Worse,
really, your reactions change. So I would say to anyone that was young doing this, enjoy it while you can, because when you get
Oh
older,
my God, man. He's literally cashing his pension. don't send him a
Thomas.
tricopter.
Thomas,
be like
it's
that.
over already, Thomas.
You
It's
can't
over.
send
Just
tricopter.
quit.
No,
Your
I'm not
golden
saying
years.
quit. I'm not saying quit.
5 years old.
I'm saying enjoy it, because I wish I could fly like that.
I'm
This is
eating
what I can't.
Cocoa Pops tomorrow. I'm gonna like do this round.
But you know what? I think
You
it's
can't.
about
They got
training.
milk in him.
Because have you seen Gary Kent fly?
Yeah.
And he's our age. So I don't think it's like a...
It's just,
Yeah,
it's
but
just
he's
my
a bit-
poor excuse, isn't it, for being rubbish at flying? It's because I'm old.
No. Because
It's life in the old boys yet.
Do you?
I think it's just the time.
do you know how to like set the time on the microwave?
Set the time on the microwave.
Yeah, that's a sort of like criteria for like you know.
You can,
life
you pass
experience.
as young.
I do
can't-
struggle if I'm honest. Sometimes it goes for too long. So
Do you ever try and get BBC Three on your microwave? Like that is a proper old. Do you get the remote controls mixed up?
well, do you know what? I don't even have a TV.
This is like the best treat ever. This is like it's so good.
Slippers on the wrong feet.
Anyone passes me a TV remote, I don't know how to work, honestly. But that's because
my god!
That's because I'm modern, though. I just watch YouTube and online. I don't watch TV, so it's not
too modern, if that.
Too modern, yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're still with the kids. Like YouTube's still cool.
Yeah, Netflix and all that. That's all I watch. And Let's Throw It Out, of course.
Yeah.
Who?
No, only because we forced you on here. I was going to FPV because my eyes got too bad for line of sight. Age is a beast.
Yeah, it is. It's a thing.
My hearing's going. I can't hear the like echo noises, stuff like that. Mosquito noises. I'm devastated. I feel because my hearing's screwed. How's your hearing, Sophie Alice Bextor? From like all the monitors.
Do you realise no one
can understand
for this? Yeah, exactly.
No one, yeah.
You used to date Sophie Alice Bextor.
No,
I didn't ever. That is not at all. Ruined my life. You really do.
She used to call him Mr. Snuggles.
I'll give you a serious answer if you want one.
Yes, please.
A very quick, serious answer about musicians' hearing. If you're a professional musician, the chances are, and I actually have my hearing. I have it tested quite. I had it tested quite recently to check, and my hearing's actually, I would say it's actually slightly above average. And the reason is I'm very, very careful about protecting my hearing, and we use molded monitors on stage when we play. So we're actually probably the only people in an arena or in a theatre or wherever we're performing that have probably got the most ear protection in. The audience are the ones who are usually getting the biggest battering, but. So my hearing's pretty good.
I've still got tinnitus from Tony sticking the volume up because he couldn't hear himself on the mixer. So he turned the master up and then realised he wasn't plugged in and just plugged in. And that is why I've got tinnitus in my right ear.
That was like a year ago.
Dickhead. There's one episode where immediately I'm like, you fucking idiot. And like, I didn't speak to him for a whole 20 minutes, man.
It was lovely. It was
fucking absolute cockface.
There goes the editing.
Yeah. No, it's after you can swear.
Timestamp now.
So I'm gonna attempt to wrap up because I think we're approaching the 2-hour mark. Can I just before I know
we've got lives. He's got lives. He used to date Ellis.
No, I didn't. Yeah, silence. But I used to I used to play guitar for her. That's context for people who didn't know that.
Yeah, don't
go off furiously googling about me and Sophie Alice Bextor.
What you're talking about.
I'd laugh if she comes up to you and she says like, "You never took me out on a date once."
Oh God, are you ever going to come back? Anyone ever going to come back?
Oh, please come back.
Let me just finish with a quick question for each of the guests. David, what's the ETA on Rocket Fist?
Probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks away for releasing the first episode.
Amazing. So everyone that didn't hear it, get your submissions into David because he is very much open to suggestions. Thomas, next race for you. Do you know when you'll be racing next?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. So everyone, make sure you subscribe to Thomas if you don't already, and Paul over at BMSWEB on their YouTube handle.
Yeah, please.
And Carlito, next race for you.
Don't know actually. Oh well, maybe the British Championship.
British Championships. Brilliant.
Okay.
And your YouTube handle again for anyone that hasn't subscribed to you is?
SeekND FPV.
Brilliant.
Can you
stuff.
upload a review of your Pervert wagon?
Yes, definitely.
Thanks, man.
My Pervert wagon. I'll teach you how to build one.
Yeah.
think
I
you
need
can-
a, yeah, definitely.
You need
I need that
you need
in my
a Pervert
life.
wagon in your life, yeah. I always said that.
NJ, please continue wrapping up.
No, I think we're there. AndyRC, brilliant.
You can't end on that. That was horrendous.
I thought it was great to end on AndyRC. What's wrong with that?
AndyRC, brilliant as always. Tony and
Absolutely.
Jack, we're learning more about your relationship every single episode.
No comment. It's all fake news.
So, yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and more shenanigans next week, I'm sure.
Oh, what an episode.
Well,
Thank you,
again.
guys.
Thanks
Thank you,
everyone.
Dan.